Haider.
First of all, I want to thank the Family Research Council for inviting me, and a special thank you to Lauren, who coordinated everything with me in the past few days and weeks and made sure that everything is facilitated for us to be able to attend this event, and also be able to register a couple of my colleagues, Hadi and Saad, here to bring them with me from the Yazidi community. My colleagues have almost covered everything, I think, within a short period of time. I really commend you with what you did in really this condensed time. But I want to cover a couple of points here. Which one of them is justice? And we always say same thing, maybe even worse happened to the Yazidis in Sinjar when ISIS ran over in 2014 and committed genocide against this community and Christians as well. And including, my brother was killed also at that day, and several family members were kidnapped. And what we see for the Yazidis and Christians and other minorities in Iraq and in Syria is, if justice did not happen or doesn't happen in general, people feel frustrated, people feel betrayed, people feel they do not trust the government, they do not trust the authority, and they could not go back to their ancestral homeland any day, even if the area is secured. And it's the same thing for the Yazidis, Christians, and Muslims and others in Syria. Without justice, we cannot convince people and persuade people to go back to their homelands. So as we do, a Yazda organization, we've established a project back in late 2015 with the former chief prosecutor, Luis Moreno Ocampo, in the International Criminal Court at the time. We created almost 75 pages of a document that a procedure how to prosecute ISIS and those who perpetrated and those who committed genocides against the Yazidis and others. And we were joined by the international lawyer, Amal Clooney, later on, beginning of 2016, and also after we founded Nadia Murad's campaign, Nadia also joined us as a Yazidi survivor, and we became a team of 3 institutions to lead this project. And on top of that, we had a Yazidi documentation project for Yazda, that taking oral testimonies from people, from survivors, telling us the information and how it happened to them and who did to them, and as many information we could gather from those people. We archived more than 25 terabytes of video taping from all these survivors, and the project thankfully is continuous today, and we are working tirelessly with the team trying to provide any evidence for this justice project. And we rallied in United Nations with Amal Clooney and Nadia Murad, and persuaded the UK government and Iraqi governments and many other friendly or kind of partners to create an investigative team within the UN and to send a team to Iraq investigating all these things. So part of that project has been started recently with the exhumation of the mass graves in Sinjar area and excavating and doing the forensic work over there. So and justice the same thing needs to happen in Syria, and we know that project is very far from accomplished, but we need to do a same scenario, do to a duplicate of that in Syria, and making sure that those perpetrators are brought to justice, whether to the International Criminal Court, whether to tribunal courts within the country, or to these individual courts in countries in Europe where their citizens traveled all the way to Syria and committed genocide, despicable crimes, and came back to their countries, such as Germany, French, UK, and many other European countries, including the United States and Canada. So without justice, the people, again, will not trust the community. They will not trust the system. They will not trust the international community. We kept talking about the Yazidi genocides, 72, 73, 74 of them in the past. And it's all history, and it's all in some of the books. Some of them have not even been documented. But right now, that genocide is ongoing against these religious minorities. And we need to do something about it. And justice is the first thing we do. So if justice doesn't happen, what is the alternative for these minorities? If they have any power, the retaliation is the alternative. They want to go and kill their Sunni neighbor because they didn't see there is any justice or anything happening in this world. So a civil war will occur for sure if Yazidis in Sinjar or Christian in Mosul or in Syria or anywhere in Syria, in Kobani, in Amudia, in Hama, anywhere that Yazidis and Christians live, if they don't see justice, some of them will create cells and they will try to defend themselves by themselves, just like what happened in Mount Sinjar in Iraq when a group of people left in the mountain and trying to defend themselves and trying to kill ISIS. Same thing is going to happen. So we really encourage this project of justice, bringing ISIS member to justice, including the United States. We don't see United States government as fully committed to this justice thing. We don't know the reason, full reason probably, but we want to encourage them. We want to tell them and rally around those victims and making sure that those people are brought to justice. Well, the second thing is the U.S. withdrawal from Syria. It's also, this is a war that is not finished. You know, it is always, sometimes we say it's up to us to start a war, but it's not up to us to end the war, because you think you defeated ISIS, but you did not defeat the ideology in Syria, and not completely defeating the ideology. You need to stay there for a certain period of time to kind of mediate between the political groups, mediate between the minorities and other groups, and making sure that when it's time to go back, everything is okay. You do not have to come back to Syria and fight this bigger enemy. This is what happened in Iraq in 2011. The U.S. withdrew from Iraq and left a huge vacuum in the region where ISIS took over, and then they had to go back. So if the U.S. government cares about it, if they withdrew, they're going to go back to Syria and fight a bigger enemy. So what we're saying that withdrawal from the Syria would be, the repercussion would be catastrophic, and we do not encourage that. We actually highly, highly discourage that withdrawal, and we encourage the U.S. government and other international actors to stay involved in peacekeeping in the region, making sure that all these fragile pieces are put together for the community and making sure that when they leave, the time is proper. And thank you very much. I kept getting nervous about the time cards. I don't want to. I think my time is over. I want to thank you for having us here again, and but we'll be here for a few more minutes. I guess any questions, even walking outside, I'm ready to answer. Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you so much. Well, you've heard three wonderful presentations. Because our time is so short, we will not be taking any questions from the audience, but there will be an opportunity during the reception to talk to people and ask questions of them. I guess the bottom line here is this is part of the second ministerial on religious freedom. We've got a huge attendance over there, and we have heard, of course, from Ambassador Sam Brownback and from the Secretary of State Pompeo, and I understand we may be hearing from the President Trump himself about the U.S. commitment to international religious freedom. Now, this is one place where we have actually succeeded in doing the right thing. We have something very valuable to protect there, and we hope that the U.S. government and its allies will adopt policies that will enable this region to remain and prosper and share its ideas with others in the Middle East. And I'm now going to thank you for your attention, and I'm now going to ask Travis Weber to come up, and he will moderate the second group.